Hi there, Lake Erie Council. I hope everybody had a great weekend and had some relaxing time, but also some family time on Sunday with each other. I heard a lot of people had some good Zoom family dinners and got outside to have some fun. I know Casey and her family did. So today we have a Grow Something for Wolves meeting, and we have Casey and her son Jensen, who are with us again today. We had a great time last time she was on and Jensen was on doing a wolf badge. I believe it was digging into the past, right?
It was, yeah. We had a lot of fun.
Wonderful. Had a good last couple weeks.
Yeah, just keeping scouting going at home. So that's always fun. Just trying to stay busy. I wish the weather would cooperate a little bit more.
Yeah, me too. It keeps changing its mind. Today it's rainy. Hopefully tomorrow it's beautiful.
Yes.
So, Jensen, before we start anything else, do you want to do a gathering activity with me?
You want to help us out, buddy?
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to put some water, some potting soil halfway up there. Can you do that?
Can you fill it up halfway?
We're going to be doing nature's layer cake is what this activity is called. So did you know that soil is made up of a bunch of different items? It's not just one. So we're going to put a bunch of soil in there. And then after you do that, let's see, how far are we? Almost there? A little bit more. One more, maybe.
We'll do one more scoop. All right.
Awesome.
All right, so we got that halfway filled.
Yes, so now that you have it halfway filled, you're going to take some water and fill it to the top.
All right. We'll fill it to about right there so we have room to shake it.
Awesome. Very nice. I see you have a Lake Erie Monsters cup there. You guys hockey fans?
We are huge hockey fans, and this is a really old cup because they're not even called the Lake Erie Monsters anymore.
No.
Fortunately, our season got canceled, so we're ready for next year.
Gotcha.
So we're going to put that on super, super tight so we don't have any leaks.
You're going to shake it really hard. Gotta get that exercise in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
All right, be careful.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so we're going to set that down on your table for a few minutes, and we're going to let it settle.
All right.
And then we're going to come back to it and see what happens.
All right.
But, so now that we've done that, can you help us do the opening with the pledge and the oath and the law?
Jensen, do you have the flag ready? All right. You want to start us off with the pledge, bud?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Perfect. How about the Scout oath? You want to start us off with that? On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally straight, mentally awake, and morally straight. All right, what about the Scout law? A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Perfect. Thanks, bud.
Wonderful job. I'm going to take my shirt off because we're going to play in some dirt in a little bit.
All right.
I have my floral on and my apron to keep myself clean.
You are very ready.
I'm ready. And I see that Jensen has his adventure clothes on.
Yep, he is ready to be in the garden. He's got a nice safari sun hat on, and then his vest has lots of pockets, so he can hold all of his gardening tools kind of everywhere. So he is all set for that.
Even inside.
Even
Yeah, there's
inside?
even pockets inside, which is awesome.
That's really great. And then you don't have to come back and waste time, right?
Exactly. I've already planted my garden, as you all can see, so I'm ready to go.
Oh, it's just gorgeous.
It is.
Beautiful.
You know, I have a green thumb.
Awesome. So today we're going to be, like I said earlier, during the Wolf Den meeting for Grow Something. In this adventure, we're going to come to understand how plants grow, the importance of taking care of our natural resources and environment. You're also going to learn about what you need to plant and tend a garden. So our requirements we're going to go over today are requirement 1, we're going to select a seed and plant it in a small container and care for it for 30 days. And then you're going to take pictures or make drawings of it once a week to share. Mm-hmm. And then, which that one I'm kind of excited about because Casey has a great fun activity to do for that one. And then number 2, we're going to talk about growing zones for our areas and what types of plants grow best in the area. Mm-hmm. All about soil and the compositions. Then, so we're at home, right? So you can either visit a community garden while still social distancing, or you can research a botanical garden in your area. There's some great virtual gardens online. There is our Facebook page for the Cleveland Botanical Garden. I don't believe they do a virtual tour. However, there are a bunch of other ones that do tours, which is kind of cool to look.
Well, and then to the Cleveland Botanical Gardens, know that they have not posted any live virtual tours yet, but they have a ton of videos and different things that they've already done showing you how to care for your plants and like kind of prune trees and bushes and all those kinds of things.
Wonderful. I've been there a few times and it's beautiful in there. So that'll be fun. And we won't do that all on here, but you'll have a good time. You can go on and research yourself. Mm-hmm. And then finally, we're going to finish up with making a choice of 3 different things to choose for number 4. You can either make a terrarium. You can use a seed tray and grow a garden inside your home, which we're going to show you how to do that. And you're going to keep a journal of it over the progress for 30 days. And then, or you can do grow a sweet potato plant in water.
Which you have going on, right?
Yes, I'm going to show you how to do that. And you're going to keep a journal for how it grows for 2 weeks or more and share it with your family. I'm really excited about that one.
All right.
And so we're going to go into the first thing. Casey, do you want to start that off for us?
I sure do. Okay, so for the first requirement of this belt loop, this is something Jensen and I have done before, not Scout related, but just for fun. We are going to make our own chia pet. Yes, exactly. So you can actually make these a couple different ways. We are going to use an old nylon stocking, like a knee high. I think we got it at the dollar store or something like that.
I got plenty of those at home with holes in them. So
right. So if mom, grandma, somebody that takes care of you has some with like runners in them, say, hey, can I use that for a chia pet? And it'll be great. It's all about repurposing. And if you don't have any of those, you can also just use a cup, a foam cup or a plastic cup, and then you can decorate it kind of the same way. So for the chia pet, we're going to take our nylon and we've got our dirt.
Gonna fill it up with dirt.
We're going to, well, not the whole thing, but a good portion of it. We're just going to start scooping some soil into there. And I'm just using regular potting soil mix. You want to hold that open for me or you want to scoop?
You can even find that at the Dollar Tree sometimes. I saw it the other day.
This is actually where we got it from, was the dollar store. And I think I just got it for kind of craft purposes. No big deal. So you want to just keep filling this guy up until you have, a good shape and size chia pet. Don't be afraid to get dirty because you're working with dirt. Mm-hmm. And now, Brittany, do you know the difference between horticulture and botany?
I always get those mixed up. Can you tell me what they are?
I can. So horticulture is actually the science and art of growing like fruits and vegetables and flowers and decoration plants. Okay. So botany is the scientific study of plants. So how plants grow, where they grow, what kind of species they are. So that's the difference. So horticulture is more of like, making like flower arrangements and stuff like that.
Can you put flower seeds in this one?
All right. So we got quite a bit of soil in there, and we're going to mash it down so we can get like a nice kind of round shape, okay? Doesn't have to be perfectly round, okay? We got that. Now, you don't need all that extra. So what I'm going to do is cut the top of it off. I'm going to cut the top of it off. Hold on, let me find my scissors. Perfect. We'll cut the top.
A little tough there.
Yep.
I got it. What am I doing?
All right. And then you gather it up. We're going to put a knot in the top so that way the soil stays inside. And now he's got like a nice little hair thing going on. All right. Actually, I'm sorry, before you tie it, you should put some seeds in it. Otherwise, it's not going to grow anything, right? So for me, I just have some old grass seed from when I was fixing my yard. So nothing really super crazy. I'm going to sprinkle a bunch of those grass seeds in there. And once they start sprouting, that'll be his hair. Be his hair, his beard, kind of whatever you want it to be, depending on where you put them or how much you put in there. So now I got my seeds in there. Now I'm going to tie the top. And you can decorate your chia pet however you want. So for me, I have a ton of googly eyes that I'm going to use. Nothing crazy. If you have markers, you can draw eyes right on there. So I'm going to put him some googly eyes on. Now I have a hot glue gun that's going to make them stick super, super fast and super, super well. So I'm going to get that glue going and stick that right on there. He's got one eye. Let's make the other eye silly.
I wonder, Casey, if anybody watching, what kind of chia pets they'd like to make. A dog chia pet, maybe?
Well, you know what's really fun about kind of making your own chia pet, because you can make it anything you want. So if I want this guy to have maybe some ears, all you will have to do is bunch up some of that dirt, and you take it like this, and then you just twist it around.
Ooh.
And I'm going to stick a rubber band around it. You can use a rubber band, you can use string, you can use kind of anything you have laying around to get it to stay in place. So I'm going to give him one big ear. And if you got a seed that got distributed in there, it's going to grow ear hair.
Nice.
I'll make him even. I'll give him another ear.
Yeah. Give him so he can hear out of both sides, I guess.
Or not listen at all.
Oh, that works too.
So we got him going.
I don't know. Nobody said what they'd make. I might make what would I make? A turtle, maybe?
Oh yeah, and then you can just separate it just like that, and shape it into the shape of a turtle. So that's my goofy guy. Yeah. And now keep in mind, so I'm going to take a marker because I think he needs a mouth, and I am going to draw a mouth on him, just right on there. So now he's happy.
Nice. And if you didn't have a pantyhose or anything like that, you could also probably use a cup.
Yep.
It wouldn't be quite like the chia pet, but you could grow seeds in a cup. So just
Yep, you could do the same thing. So I would fill this probably about 3/4 of the way with the dirt, and then put the seeds on top. Then you could decorate the cup anyway. I mean, you can still glue things onto it. You can draw things onto it. It just won't be sticking out like kind of like the pantyhose. So once you're happy with how your chia pet looks, I like his little pantyhose head, and his ears make me laugh. You can either put him into like a seed tray, or if you have like a planter, a small planter, you can set him in air for growing. But we're just going to use paper plate. You can actually also use like an old Tupperware that you can't find a lid for, which everybody has those. So I'm just going to set him down on there. Okay. And then we're going to water him. So for the first day or so, you're going to really want him soaked. Because it's got to catch all of that dirt and all of those seeds. And you'll want to put them in something that the water will stay and continually soak up. And then he'll just start growing after a couple of days. And you'll see grass start sprouting out of his head. He's actually pretty cute. So, yep. All right. So I'm going to set this guy aside. And I think it's important that if you're making your chia pet, you have to give him a name, right? So he's your own little creation, and I'm going to name my guy, I don't know. Brittany, what do you think? We need a good name.
How about Harry the Hippo?
Harry the Hippo. All right. He does kind of have hippo-y ears.
Kind of, yeah.
All right. I'm going to set him aside. All right. And it got a little dirt on my hands, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to move right along.
Awesome. I learned something fun. I'll have to do that down the road, see what I can make.
Yeah, you can use, I mean, I think when we did it before, we used yarn and kind of made like eyebrows and a mouth and a mustache. And you know, you do whatever you kind of feel like doing. Use your imagination.
So one of the things that you have to know about is like your soil and different things like that. Do you think we've waited long enough for your jar that we started with, or do you think we need a little bit longer?
I think we need a little bit longer.
Okay, so that kind of goes into our growing zones.
Right.
So growing zones are important because we need to know what can survive and when and where we should plant different types of plants, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So on the back of a lot of these little seed packets, where you get these pretty much most places, but these came from the Dollar Tree. They have, I don't know if you can see, little charts on the bottom. And this is actually shows the different growing zones on it. And so we are actually in the green, we're in the yellow-ish kind of on this packet. Mm-hmm. But if you go online and go to the gardening.org /NGA, which I will put up later on Facebook, so you can look up yourself. You can actually look up where you are in the zone. So I'm in Ashtabula, so I put in my zip code. And so I'm in, so this is something interesting. They have a 2012 map, and which is what, the closest now. But they also have from 1990. So in the 2012 map, we are zone 6B. And the 1990 map, we were the 5B.
Oh, wow.
Now,
okay.
It changes because we've had increases in technology and different things like that, I guess, is how that has happened. But according to the backs of these, which are not as scientifically probably accurate as other things, but we are in the yellow section, which means zone 4 on this little sheet here. With the tribes, the best time to do it is from May to June. So the weather, the soil, different things like that, that's the best time for us to plant these.
And most plants too, especially for vegetables and flowering plants, you want to be sure that you're not planting when there's still danger of frost.
Yes.
So for that, that's kind of hard to determine, especially this crazy weather that we've been having. So it might get really, really chilly tonight and actually frost some things. So you want to be sure if you already have plants going outside by that time, you want to cover them. So you can use like a burlap or like a plastic bag and protect them from the frost.
In our area, when I went to this website, it told me that my frost-free growing season starts May 20th and ends October 1st. So about 134 days of frost-free growing. Now, we never know if that's going to be exactly what's going to happen, but that's what their best average is from May 20th to October 1st. And you can put your zip code in, and no matter where you are, if you're in the Lake Erie Council, or if you're in California, or in Florida, or Texas, you can put it in there, and you can see, okay, our average frost-free growing seasons from here to here.
Okay.
And you can also find your zone. And then when you're looking what you want to plant, it can be, okay, we should plant this now, or we should wait because of that.
All right.
But
so do you know what I want to talk about now?
What do you want to talk about?
Different kinds of soil, or dirt, as I'm going to call it. But I like to play in the dirt. I don't mind getting messy. So there's tons of different kind of soil or dirt that are good for growing certain things. So for like clay soil, it's really wet, and it holds on to the moisture, so it doesn't have really good drainage. So for things that you're going to plant in there, it's going to be a lot of things that like to stay wet. So it wouldn't be a cactus, because a cactus doesn't require a lot of groundwater. So the clay soil is really tight and compact and all of that. So different kinds of flowers that you can put in there, like daylilies. Black-eyed Susans are good. They're also really, really pretty. And a perennial sunflower, which is actually a little bit different. Sandy soil. Now, sandy soil is super, super gritty, super, super dry. You'll find this in the desert. So obviously plants that would grow in the desert would grow in sandy soil. So cactus, any kind of succulent plants like that. Silt. That kind of soil is really fine. It is very gritty, but it's actually the soil part that makes mud. So when it gets wet, it's sloppy, wet mud, gross. But this kind of soil is super, super great for farmlands, growing fruits and vegetables and all those kinds of things. So I'm guessing in Asheville County, where I am at, we have a lot of that kind of soil. I know personally in my backyard, it's more of a clay soil, so it's very sticky, very, very wet, and I have to be careful of what kind of plants I try to grow. But so you always want to make sure, so if you're buying new kinds of plants to put into the ground or whatever, you check your soil first. And I would encourage, maybe not today because it's so super rainy and windy, but sometimes when the weather is a little bit warmer, go outside and play in the dirt. Tell me what it feels like. Is it super gritty, or is it kind of soft and sticky? And then you'll know what kind of soil you'll have and what you can put in there.
You know what? We actually had somebody from Baton Rouge on here.
Oh, really?
That's kind of cool. Yeah. And Sarah would have made a bee geopet.
Oh, that would be, you know what you could do with that? And you can take like yellow and black pipe cleaners or yarn and then make the stripes and the antennae as well. And that would be fantastic.
Nice. I like that.
I just made a goofy hippo-eared guy with different color eyeballs. A bee.
Awesome.
Well, I hope she does make one and sends us a picture, because that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, we'd love to see one in the comments there, even if it's a couple days from now.
Yeah.
And see your progress.
And definitely start, like, once you make yours and they start growing, send us pictures of how they're growing. I would love to see, especially if you did like the pantyhose and made grass kind of come out from everywhere. That would be fun.
That would be amazing. So, okay, I love that. Okay, so we've talked about soil.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked a little about planting. Well, we might want to go over, what do you need to grow a plant?
I think you need lots of things. You definitely need healthy soil. So if you want to start something inside and do like a seed tray, so you'll need like a potting mix. So inside the potting mix is different components of soil, but it's also got fertilizer kind of thrown right in there. And I will see if you ever go into potting soil and you see these little tiny white pieces, so that's like plant food. So that's going to help whatever you're growing to actually grow and bloom. And that, like I said, I think I just got this right at the dollar store. It's nothing major, a couple bucks, and it lasts forever.
Nice.
So you definitely need healthy soil.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch of these little starter pots, and these are fantastic because you start them inside, and they soak up, kind of all the nutrients, and then you don't even have to take your plant out of it to put it in the ground and transplant it outside.
Okay.
So I would take this and I would dig the appropriate amount of space for this pot, and I would put the whole thing right in the ground. And by that time, the plant is already kind of started and it's growing. So there's no point of even tearing it apart. And this will it's biodegradable, so it just kind of absorbs into the earth, which is really great. So we got soil, we got some kind of a starter, we definitely need water. So you want to check the plant that you're planting, because some require lots of water. So every single day you're going to have to water it. And then some plants, like a cactus, don't really need much water. I have a tiny, tiny little cactus, and I water it once every other month. And it's been going strong for years. And that's the kind of plant I need because it's low maintenance, right?
Yeah.
So you'll need the right amount of water, soil with fertilizer, definitely a good starter. I definitely recommend, if you want to start making and planting things outside, if you want to do a garden, fruits and vegetables, definitely start them inside a little bit earlier. Bonus points if you have like a lamp to put them under, so they get that artificial sunlight, because all plants need sunlight to grow. Some need all day sunlight, and some need shade, half sun. So you definitely have to research the kind of plant that you're going to plant before kind of just diving in. I'm not super great at planting all kinds of things, but I can usually bring something that has died back to life. So I've got that skill going on for me.
So you just said a few minutes ago, you were talking about transplanting once it's grown a little bit. Mm-hmm. One of the things that is different, there's different methods or different ways, is there's either planting the seeds like we did earlier, or there's transplanting them.
Yep.
Do you know what the difference between that is? What's transplanting versus?
Yep. So transplanting. So if I were to start a seed in this pot, okay, and then move it outside, I technically would not be transplanting it, because I'm taking this entire thing and planting it into the ground. Okay, so it's still in the same starter pot. However, if I took like a plastic pot, or a lot of times if you go and buy flowers from like a Home Depot or a garden center, they come in those plastic flats of like different things. You would take the entire plant out, from the base of the plant with the soil and everything, and then you would put it into the ground. And then the container that it comes in, you would no longer need. Recycle it if it's plastic. Don't just throw it away, for sure. So those are the differences. Transplanting is you're actually taking the plant out and moving it to a new location. Whereas just planting it and putting it in the ground, it's kind of all one step.
You have to be careful with its roots when you're transplanting it.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that the root is like firmly in the soil, because you're going to pick it up pretty close to the base of the root. So when you're picking it up, and you almost kind of like loosen it up around the edges before you pick it up and just kind of fling it all over the place, and you lose your dirt and all of that stuff. And then you really have a mess on your hands.
Exactly. So awesome. That's a lot of information that I think is key for when you're doing your gardening. I've done a little bit more recently, and I've kept things alive. So that's positive. So
Brittany, what kind of tool, if you're gardening outside, what kind of tools do you use?
So I use a trowel or a little shovel, or a rake, and then a hose.
Yep.
Sometimes, and then sometimes you need ground cloth.
Yep.
Is a tool that you can use, just because doesn't it help to keep down the weeds and help?
Yes, it does. So I love that stuff, and I love that a lot of times it just comes in black, and it's like a big black cloth, but you can actually find it in green as well, which I think just looks better in a garden. But you lay that down, you kind of till your bed out, and by tilling your bed, you're kind of loosening up the dirt and all of that and getting all the existing weeds out. And then you'll flatten it down and you'll put that cloth down. And that keeps all of those weeds from coming back through and kind of invading your plants. And then you'll put all of your new, fresh, clean, ready to go soil, topsoil down, and then you can start planting. And then you can add decorative things like mulch and stuff like that, and that also helps to keep the weeds out.
Wonderful. So is there anything that you use that I haven't mentioned? Watering can.
I do have a watering can, but you know what? So I really like to get down. I used to wear gloves in the dirt, but now I just like to get dirty in there because you find all the worms and the bugs and stuff, and that's always fun. So I have, it's like a mini rake. What is the technical name for it? You know what I mean? It's got like the 3 claws. Instead of like a big till, like a rototiller, I use just the mini one. And it kind of really gets in there and gets all of those tiny roots and everything out, and you're able to pull them out. If anybody knows the technical name for that, please let me know, because for me, it's a mini rake with three claws.
A spade. So you got a spade, a rake, a shovel. Let's see. I don't know.
Wow. I know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about too. I'm not sure exactly what the real name is. So
it's a mini rake with 3 fingers.
Well,
that is a technical term. We're gonna go with it.
Yeah. Hey, let's go with it.
If anybody actually does gardening and knows that name, let me know.
So I know that you were going to show us how to do a seed tray at your house. Do you want to show us what you do?
Sure. So I have just this little tray, and I've kind of used these a little bit before. In these, they're empty, got nothing going on, but I'm going to fill them with dirt, soil, ready to go topsoil, planting soil. And these are fantastic because they got the little hole in the bottom, and as long as you put them into a tray, you pour the water right on top of these little planters. And any excess will drain out of the bottom, and it'll catch in the tray. And then you won't have to water. As long as it keeps, the whole thing stays moist, you should be good. So I'm going to fill them about 3/4 of the way full of soil. What you got going on over there, Brittany?
I've got an ice cube tray.
Okay.
Sometimes I like to use this and poke holes in the bottom, and then put it on a tray, and then use that for my little garden.
That's perfect. And then so you want to select what kind of seed you are going to start in your indoor garden. So I am a huge fan of butterflies. I think they're gorgeous. So I like to plant plants and flowers that attract bees and butterflies because there are pollinators, right? So I have it's called the butterfly flower. So monarch butterflies are actually attracted to these because of their color. So make sure you follow the directions on the back of your seed packet, and plant accordingly. So these are actually really cool seeds because they're tiny purple. They almost look like tiny purple sesame seeds.
Okay.
Which I think is cool. So I'm going to need to space these a 1/2 inch apart in my seed starter. So I won't be putting too many in here. You only need to put them about 1/8 of an inch down. so you don't, because the root will go down and then the flower will come up. So you don't need to plant them super deep. So I've made took my finger and just made the tip of my pinky finger a little indentation in the soil, and I'm going to drop one seed, and then I'm going to cover it up, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just a little indentation, and I'm going to drop another seed and then cover it up, put my extras back. I dropped one. And so for my other starter, I'm going to use poppies. These seeds are also purple. They don't attract butterflies or bees or anything like that. So these say, which is very important, do not cover with soil. So the other seeds, I put the soil back on top of them. These just go right on the top. So still 1/2 inch apart. So I'm going to make sure my soil is pretty flattened, so we don't get it covered at all. And these are little tiny round seeds. They're super hard to see, but I'm just going to drop one in there and one more. And then I'm going to put the rest back.
So those ones are hard to put outside, right?
Yeah, they are hard to put outside. And you almost have to, these are really indoor starter seeds, because it's super hard to not cover up the seeds.
And birds.
Yeah, and birds will eat them up. Yeah, they'll be gone, and you'll never have poppies, which will be sad. So it says actually start indoors 4 weeks before the last frost.
Okay.
So I think we're kind of on schedule for that. And then you don't take them outside until the danger of frost has passed. So it kind of reiterates that. So 5 to 10 days for it to start growing. So by this time next week, we should have some little seedlings coming up, and they bloom in the summer.
Okay.
And they actually grow up to 3 feet tall. So obviously I would not keep them in this little tiny pot, because 3 feet tall, the whole thing would knock over.
Yeah.
And then for my butterfly flowers, 3 to 6 days to start growing. And the same thing for the frosts. Obviously, don't take them outside. And these actually grow 24 inches or 2 feet high.
I would love to know some of the people's favorite flowers or even vegetables in the comments, so we could see what they might start growing in their home gardens soon.
Do you know what? Actually, my favorite flower ever is a white daisy. A Shasta daisy is my favorite. I have tried so many times to grow them, and I have never been successful. So everybody, keep your fingers crossed for these flowers. I will update you whether they grow or not. But I'm going to pour a little bit of water just so I can make sure that my soil is moist, and that will feed the seed. It will start growing, so I'm going to do both of them. And then I will set that aside. So the soil will soak up whatever moisture that it needs, and the excess, it will actually, it's already started to drain out. It's hard to see in my little dish here, but there's extra soil or extra water that's come out. But as it needs more, it will soak it right back up.
Nice. Sarah said she says, go nature. We like nature. We like nature too. No,
I love nature too. And, I love springtime, except for like the mud and like the crazy up and down weather. I love springtime because everything starts to bloom again and everything starts over, right? It's like a fresh start for nature. And I love the smells of springtime. That's my favorite.
Ooh. Anthony's going to be doing some tulips maybe. That's his favorite. And Ashley from 297 is growing basil and thyme, dill, and mint right now.
Ooh, that is fantastic. And do you know there are so many different herbs that you can plant that actually help keep mosquitoes away, and mint is one of them. So we have a mint bush outside just in the corner of our house, and it comes back every year, which is great. So I don't have to like kind of redo it. And it helps keep mosquitoes away. Another one is rosemary, lemongrass. You can get those really tall lemongrass plants at like Home Depot, and they grow huge, like taller than me, and you put them in a giant pot and they keep mosquitoes away, which is fantastic. And then the mint, you can just crush it up and do different things with it. And basil just smells amazing. So those are all fantastic.
That's wonderful. And Julia started her sage last week, but she's hoping it warms up in a few weeks so it'll grow.
Yeah. Sage is a good one. And then actually, if you have sage that you've grown previously and have it dried out, another thing, if you happen to have like a campfire going on one night at your house or campground or something like that, if you throw dried sage into your campfire, it keeps your bugs away. Ooh, like I know all these things from camping. I'm like, the mosquitoes really like me, so I'm like, what can I use?
What can I
do? Yeah, and just surround myself with like mint and rosemary and sage and like all of these things in my herb bubble.
Nice. So I don't know, are you finished with yours? Because I'm excited to get on to the very last thing we're going to show everybody.
You know what? I am, because I got my guy soaking up his water over there. I got my seed starter soaking up water over here. We have our jar that is separating. Do we want to see?
Let's look at it now, and then we'll wait a few minutes and finish this. Oh, I can see it. Look at that.
So Jensen shook that up really well, and then you can see how the water is separated from the dirt. Now I mixed it up again, so we'll let that sit a little bit longer. Yeah.
Nice. So what we're going to end our fun growing something adventure today with is the sweet potato growing in water. So the materials we need for this one is a glass, some sort of glass with a wide opening, and then we need a sweet potato and some water, and then we're going to need a few toothpicks. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our sweet potato in about the middle. We're going to stick the toothpicks in 3 to 4, just so in the center. Okay, 2 more. And a potato's kind of hard, so you might need a little help sticking it into the potato, just because. And you'll need a few extras because I just broke one of my toothpicks. But there's a starter hole, so it shouldn't be so hard. So then I'm going to stick my potato in there. And so, okay, it holds just like that. And I'm not going to add any soil. That's weird, right, Casey? We're planting something, but
yeah, how do you grow something without soil?
Well, I just poured water all over myself. Hopefully I missed my computer.
Way to hydrate, Brittany.
Yes. Well, this is hydro growing right now. 1 second. There we go. And so basically we'll stick the potato in the water. And let's see, which way do I like better? We'll go with this way. I'm going to add more because we're going to want it to go up so the bottom half is pretty deep into it. And then we're going to put it in the windowsill.
Okay.
And that sun and light is going to help it grow. And then after 2 or so weeks, it's going to take a little bit of time, you're going to start seeing the roots come into the water. And then they're going to, you can take this and you can leave it and watch it for a while more. Or as we talked about earlier, you can transplant them into the ground. Now, when you transplant them in the ground, you got to make sure that the soil is rich enough and has the nutrients in it. Because if you don't have that, then it won't grow as well.
Could you just maybe, if you're not sure about your soil that you have, add some fertilizer and some plant food? That would be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would work. And then, so as the roots reach down into the water, because that's the food that it needs, that water, and whatever's in the water, you also start to see some little green leaves grow from the top.
Oh, okay.
So your your sweet potato is our seed
Nice.
for that.
Do you know
Now,
what that actually reminds me of, Brittany? When I was a kid, and I'm sure everybody's done this in school, and they're probably still doing it. You take a sandwich baggie with like a lima bean and a wet paper towel. You wrap the lima bean in the wet paper towel, you put it in the sandwich baggie, and then you just tape it to the window.
mhm,
And so all you're getting is the water and the sunlight, and it grows.
there you go.
Now tell me everybody's done this, because I feel like it was just yesterday I was doing it.
Yeah, I think most have, but if you haven't, it's a really fun activity to do. It only this has three ingredients or materials that you need for this. Yep. And then another way you could do it is you could replant it in a hanging basket so that the vines couldn't grow down still. So,
do you know, Brittany, that you can recycle your vegetables? So for me in our house, we're all about recycling. We recycle cans and plastic and glass and like all those things. But did you know that you could recycle vegetables?
Really?
Yes. So if you are a lettuce person, so we like the big stalks of like romaine lettuce, and you've eaten it. And then when you have about that much left, so on the bottom of your lettuce, you can cut off the excess or whatever, and you can just take a little tiny shallow dish, not much deeper than this. Again, like an old Tupperware, something like that would work. And you put about an inch of water, and then put the piece of lettuce stalk in there, and it starts growing a new lettuce head. We've done that with romaine lettuce, and we've actually done it with celery. So you want to be careful. You have to put it in the sunlight, but you want to be careful not to overwater, because it will like burn it up and it gets really gross. So maintain that inch of water and no more, and then you can just recycle your own vegetables.
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
And in this time and day, it might be great to have your own vegetables so you don't have to go to the store as much.
Yeah, exactly.
But I had a great time today, and some of the things I think we took away were, some great life skills, some learning how to observe and listen carefully, because if you don't pay attention to what you're doing, you'll kill the plant or you won't get what you want.
Been there.
Yeah, and you're taking care of plants in the environment and working as a team, because you and Jensen were helping each other out, and it was a great opportunity to work as a team. So we went through each of the requirements, except for the one about the botanical gardens. You'll want to go on and research, but we'd love to see each of the requirements and maybe a picture or something to tell us how your plants are going down the road. Mm-hmm. But we went through the planting a seed, and number 1, and care for 30 days. Number 2, growing zones. Number 3, the researching. And number 4, you can either do the potato or the seed tray. So lots of fun ideas.
And now I want everybody out there watching, or anybody that's going to watch later, to really keep your fingers crossed for my seed tray. Because as I've said, I do not have great luck in growing things like that. So I'm going to leave them. I'm going to put them in a windowsill, and really, really everybody needs to pull for me that I get something growing. Because I would love to have some butterflies in my yard this year. So we're going to make that happen.
Nice. Well, I think we're almost to our end. I'm really happy that you and Jensen could join us today to do some planting and growing. Tomorrow we have an awesome activity coming up for the Tigers, Tiger Bites. Hopefully you'll see everybody over there. Peggy will be with us tomorrow. So everybody have a great night. Enjoy yourself. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.